Welcome to Spectrum of Topics, episode 6. I'm super excited about today's guest. She recently joined our team at Spectrum Interiors as the Director of Interior Design, Christy Davis. Welcome.
Thank
Um,
you.
why don't you share a little bit of background about yourself for some of our viewers that may not know you?
So I have been doing workplace design and interior design for about 20 years now. And I'm a licensed architect also in Wisconsin. And I've worked on a lot of law firm like clients, like that kind of work. And then also have worked on like more, financial type institutions, tech companies. But yeah, a lot of workplace and then a little bit of multifamily recently.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, we're so excited to have you on our team. Maybe let's just dive right in. Um, I know we talk a lot about, on our Spectrum Interiors LinkedIn page around just the differences between a traditional kind of design build process for a client. But maybe if you can share a little bit about, some of the differences as it relates to kind of your group, the design team, and kind of how that process is different than the traditional process in a project.
Yeah, so I think the main thing is how fast we work right away, getting test fits like done initially, and then getting pricing done right away. And that can be from, the broker side even, and to see which area, which building a tenant might fit in best and how that budget looks. And then get into the 3D visualization for all those buildings. Say there's 3 buildings they're contemplating moving into and what the budgets look like, and also what their space will look like in those areas, in those individual office buildings. So it's a lot different, a lot more fast paced and more answers right up front. I know a lot of clients and brokers want to know how much like that space will take and how much money it will be right away. And I think it's very helpful to get those numbers
Yeah.
like, and clearly right in the beginning.
Yeah, so maybe elaborate a little bit on, so for those that maybe not, knowing that or watching this episode, so you say we're able to provide kind of answers right away. Maybe share like who it is you're referring to kind of on our team that you would be working with to kind of provide that cost breakdown of a space and like the test fit.
Yeah, so from our team, Adam and Katie would be doing like test fitting, and then we would hand that over to Joe, and he would be doing the estimating for our team. And they all have like I think everybody's probably has another 20 years experience as well. And
Yeah.
so our team is very senior and has been doing this for a very long time. So can get in there really quickly and get the test fits done. And with the program that the client, hands us over, we can just get it together super
Yeah.
efficiently.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for that. So you kind of highlighted a little bit about, our visualization tools. Maybe tell us like a little bit more about how your team is utilizing kind of that state of the art tools to kind of help clients, do kind of building analysis very early on and kind of as the project is progressing.
Yeah, so right away, like even if we're in like a shell building, say everything's been demoed or not, we can go and walk through the space and you can kind of see the before and after of what that space would look like. And we give the client a QR code. And then that can you can just stand in that space looking at it as it is and then see how it will look like on from your cell phone or whatever you're looking at.
Yeah.
Um, and then we also do that on our like CD sets. So the subcontractors can look at the CDs. They're just looking at the paper, and then there's a QR code, and they can also see that right up front as well, which has been really helpful for those subcontractors to be able to see the renderings right as they're looking around the space, and maybe that um, reduces the amount of questions that come through from the construction side, as well as RFIs request for information. I know like saying the acronyms might not always, I think most people probably know, but in our industry.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. And I've also seen it too, like, from the client's perspective, really utilizing, your team does such a great job of developing such kind of real, very detail oriented visualization tools very early on, like you were talking about. And to see, some of our clients, experience just their reactions when you're very early on in a project process, for them to actually visualize and see the space, you know, we've just found like a lot of clients have enjoyed being able to see that um, visualization like very early on.
Mhm. Yeah, and then having a price to go with it.
Mhm.
And that instead of being surprised months and months and months down the road,
Yeah.
you're in the first couple weeks can get something
Mhm.
um, and not be surprised, after you get all the way through your CDs,
Yeah.
which I think is super helpful. And you can't, in the traditional sense, you can't always get that. Like in the traditional design, builds, everything, like you usually have to bid it out, and that doesn't come along for a number of months. And so you're really baked in by the time you get there and at the traditional construction
Yeah.
timeline, which then you have to go back and VE and do all of that a lot later on in the process. So it works out better for the design team and for the client to know what they're getting like
Yeah.
right off the bat.
And I've
So
also seen that too, right? Like being able to, like what we are creating and what your team is creating is something that the client will in the end be walking into that space and seeing, which is I think again another unique kind of piece to, to our group versus like the other. Um let's see here. I had a couple other questions. What's something that, viewers would be surprised to maybe learn about, our design group at Spectrum Interiors?
I think the senior level for sure, like everybody having so much experience. Um, and then, that a lot of the team have been working together for quite a bit, quite a while. And so just like how the estimators, the people on site, and then the designers all interact every day. We're all in the office together at least 3 days a week, maybe more, depending on the week. And so we always have that collaboration. The contractor side is sitting right next to the designer, and we have meetings every day.
Yeah.
So it really is seamless in how the coordination like gets through. Submittals are always kind of the same way, like they come through, the traditional way, but it's still like we're right next to the contractor all day long, basically.
Yeah.
We're the contractor, but yeah, it's just super easy.
Yeah. It's like efficient, kind of create.
Yes, very efficient. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, I think that that is an interesting point. A lot of our team members have worked together, even at previous organizations together. So that really was quite a while for them
hmm
all to work together. Um,
It's a little family, right?
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love it. So here's my next question that I thought it would be interesting to get your perspective on and have you kind of share to our viewers around our kind of furniture process as it relates to some of our projects. So maybe share a little bit about, from your chair, the difference from our group having, being a commercial furniture dealer in-house and having that kind of value add service for our clients. Maybe share a little bit about your perspective on that process and how that works.
hmm Yeah, so I think in the traditional way, like construct or design sense, we would use a dealer, and we still do that often as well. And if a client has somebody that they've worked with and have a past with, we go that route and then can do some ancillary fill in as needed if they want, or split it up with a dealer. But then we are also a dealer, and so we can procure and provide all the furniture on our end and have that be another add additional service that we because we're already doing it, we're already choosing it all. It's just then purchasing it and installing it for you, because we want to make sure that the products that we're choosing like go with the design. So whether we're working with a dealer or, you know, having it internal with, within our company, then it all flushes out and ends up, still going with the design. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and you hit on something too. I think that's interesting is as you said, it fits at the design, yes. But one thing that I've noticed when we do have the kind of furniture value add kind of within like a project process is we're able to give again real-time pricing.
Hmm.
So for instance, if we're having discussions around like a furniture budget, we're able to then like be like, okay, here's where they accounted for in furniture budget and make sure that it fits, right? And not specifying and choosing something that, just to sell something and it doesn't necessarily fit with the client's budget.
Right. And then, yeah, and we can do that right away again, and not that we're bugging somebody else, but, we can just do that internally, just like the contractor side. You know, Sometimes you don't know who you're bidding it out to and whether they're going to get chosen. And so instead of sending it out to a few different vendors, we can just internally figure
Yep.
out what the price point will be. And then the client can budget right off the bat, except, as well, just with
Mhm.
the construction numbers, because it all adds up
Yeah.
pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Christy, for joining us. Again, like I said in the beginning, I'm just really excited to have you on our team. And become a part of our Spectrum Interiors family. Yeah, I will see you next week at the office.
Yes. Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.